Atlantum, Southern Pacific Ocean. Ambra's eyes half opened. She propped herself up on her elbows. She was in a circular bed, bundled up in soft, snow-white sheets and pillows. Covering her was a light, dove-grey woven blanket into which dozens of tiny pearls had been stitched. It was exquisite, and the most comfortable bed she had ever been in. But it was not her bed. Yawning, she rubbed the last of the sand poet's dust from her eyes. The sand poet's dust. Her memory snapped back like a rubber band. Looking around, she saw she was alone in a small spherical room that shone blue-green with the light that penetrated its translucent walls and ceiling. There was a mirror on one wall, with a pattern of dozens of tiny seashells engraved around the edge. An ornate silver lamp hung over the centre of the room, emitting a soft glow. It was completely quiet. It was a haven of peace and beauty, yet Ambra's heart was racing. Where am I? And where is Jevon? Swinging her legs over the side of the bed, she found she was still fully clothed, but someone had removed her shoes, which were placed neatly under a chair next to the bed. She padded towards what looked like the door to the room, except it wasn't, as there didn't appear to be a handle, just a wall of swirling, spiralling blue and green. Was it even solid? Ambra gingerly put her hand out to touch it. The door vanished, revealing a spacious, concave room with a high ceiling. Jevon sat at a long table, intricately carved from what looked like white marble. He was speaking in a low voice with a curious-looking man. There were 2 crystal cups and a matching pitcher on the table. The sand poet was nowhere to be seen. The two looked up at Ambra's appearance. "What's happened? Where are we?" blurted Ambra at Jevon, ignoring the stranger. She had not meant to be rude, but was disoriented and had many questions. Jevon smiled at her as he got up from the table. "Don't worry, Ambs. Mum's asked these folks to bring us both here, so she doesn't have to worry about our safety, just in case." "In case what?" "There are vested interests, certain governments and corporations, who don't want her team's research released. The team have got security around them, but Mum wanted to make sure no one got to us." "What about Casper?" Ambra fretted. Jevon grasped his sister's shoulders. "Mum got a message to Ruth before we welcomed our sand-throwing visitor. She'll go get Casper and look after him." Ruth was their elderly neighbour. She and Casper adored each other, and Ambra had no doubt she would care well for him. He was probably napping on Ruth's living room floor under the ceiling fan right now. "This is the safest place until the announcement. We'll only need to be here a couple of days." "Where is this?" "Where exactly are we?" Ambra's voice quaked. "We're under the bloody ocean, aren't we?" "Not exactly," said Jevon. Ambra began breathing rapidly and shaking. "Oh no, I can't have a panic attack now." "I can't be here, Jevon. I want to go home." Jevon put his arm around his sister, then turned back towards the marble table, gesturing to the man he had been speaking with. "This is Quill," he said, introducing the sturdy man who was walking towards Ambra, hand outstretched. Ambra was quivering. She grasped the man's hand. As his skin made contact with her, Quill's energy spread through her every muscle, blood vessel and nerve ending, like liquid light. Her shoulders dropped and her jaw loosened. She exhaled. Quill was older than both of them, but it was impossible to guess his age. His dark hair was flecked with grey and cut short enough to stop it curling. He wore a leather work belt that held a variety of different writing instruments in silver cylinder casings. Some were elaborate antique pens. Others looked modern and high-tech. He had a pleasant face and wore rectangular spectacles, over which he appeared at Ambra with kind blue eyes. "Ambra, I am Quill, chronicler of the Ondans. I keep and write our history. Would you like a drink?" Yes. Yes, please." Sorry, I'm still drowsy from sand. Ambra shook her head. What was that? Quill went over to the marble table and produced a third crystal cup, into which he poured a pale, orange-coloured liquid from the pitcher. Ambra wasn't sure she wanted to drink it, but once she put it to her lips, she discovered it was cool and refreshing, with a delicate floral flavour. Within moments, she felt a deep sense of relaxation in her body. That's lovely. What is it? Quill smiled. Iced coral tea. It will calm your anxiety about being here. It was developed especially for Terran guests who felt as you do. Then it became a favoured beverage of Ondin's too. Its effects should last for several days. Where's the sand poet? I didn't know who he was or what was going on. And then without even warning us, he threw some kind of magic dust over us and whoosh! Quill's face creased with amusement. The sand poet is almost mute, at least when it comes to speech. His sand pictures are how he prefers to communicate, he explained. I apologise if his limited ability to communicate frightened you, but we had to send him, and not only because his magic dust and umbrella were needed to bring you here to Atlantum. Ondin Sotomarans cannot be exposed to direct sunlight, and as fragile as he is under your sun, Sand Poet tolerates the Terran environment a lot better than most of us, as long as he has his umbrella. What's different with him then? Asked Jevon. Many years ago, the Sand Poet's mother had a child who was part Terran. The boy's name was Lyris, but as he grew and became one of Onda's most celebrated artists, he became known as the Sand Poet. So this is Onda? Ambra gestured at their surroundings. No, this is Atlantum, the capital city of the Ondans, Amphibious Submarinus. We are one of two tribes of ocean dwellers known as the Sotomarans, explained Quill. Onda means wave, as we live within structures that stay on or just beneath the surface of the waves, depending on both the weather and proximity of Terran ships, planes and satellites. How do you hide something this big from us, from Terrans? The outer domes of Atlantum, and our other smaller cities, have been specially engineered and built with a reflective coating developed for use in Terran military applications. It makes us invisible to the human eye and any kind of radar or satellite detection devices. Do you take this thing under the ocean surface? Asked Ambra. Quill laid a reassuring hand on her arm. Don't worry, you will be perfectly safe. Your brother has told me about your fear of the sea. Ambra forced a smile. She didn't like people knowing about it, but there was no choice here. What about the other tribe? Do they live in cities like this? Asked Jevon. The Nautilans, Nautilus Submarinus, are the other tribe. They inhabit the depths of the ocean and are never above the surface. Unlike Ondans, Nautilans can only last a few minutes on Earth's surface during the day, as they have evolved underwater. Their skin is very pale, almost translucent, and they are highly sensitive to not only the sun, but any natural Terran light, including the moon. Exposure to direct sunlight will kill them in less than a minute. Submarinus. Both tribes share one Latin name. Are you from the same family? Asked Ambra. We were, replied Quill. Ambra noticed a wistful look across Quill's face. Let's not dwell on that, he said in a brighter tone. You've arrived at a special time for Ondans. Tonight we celebrate one of our most important occasions, a royal birthday, to which you are both invited as a welcome for your arrival in Atlantum. Our host will be Her Majesty, the Queen of Onda. Thank you, we'd be honoured, although I'm not exactly dressed for it, said Ambra, looking down in dismay at her dishevelled clothes. Quill gave her a wink.